Hello, my name's Mandy from Mandy Sorts It Out, and today I'm going to be talking about sorting out my retirement. And I have to say at first that I did not intend to move to the UK to never work again. That was not the plan when I moved over here. I moved over here to help support my mum, who has dementia, and I wasn't sure if I was going to return and finish working until I retired at 67. I had no anticipation of retiring early whatsoever, or if I'd stay in the UK and make my life here until I retired. I really wasn't sure which would happen, but the thought of not working didn't really enter into it. I knew I wouldn't work much initially because I'd be supporting mum who had dementia. The plan was to take her out all the time, as much as she wanted to go out, and I knew having a job would interfere with that. So I was hoping to take maybe a year or two off to do that. I didn't know how long I'd be able to spend that time with mum because she had dementia and I didn't know how quickly she might decline. I spent about a year and 4 months taking mum out in the end before it came to a point where I thought I can't do this on my own anymore. It takes two people to manage mum. For instance, if I took her somewhere and I needed the toilet and she wouldn't come to the toilet with me, what was I supposed to do? Leave her somewhere and hope she was still there when I came back? Yeah, so it got too difficult for one person to manage. But then I got ill. I had vitamin D, iron, and vitamin B12 deficiencies, and I really wasn't well for a while. And when I was starting on the supplements and starting to get better, it took quite a while to feel better again. And then I realised, well, I'd always known that I didn't particularly like Bristol, but I realised that I absolutely did not want to stay in Bristol at that point. As soon as I felt well enough to move, I think I'd made the decision in January of 24, but I just didn't feel well enough to move. So I had to wait until I did feel well enough to move. And I didn't want to get a job somewhere where I was going to leave pretty quickly, even if I'd felt up to getting a job. These things I felt like I was constantly juggling job, health, where I wanted to live. All these questions were constantly going round and round in my head, like someone juggling them. And at the end of 24, I started looking for somewhere to move to because I felt I had the energy to actually manage a move. And I thought, right, I'll move and I'll get a job. And I eventually did manage to move to Leicestershire, which is where I live now. But not long after I moved, I don't know if it was the stress of the move, but I became unwell again and struggled to get out of bed. And it's only really in the last sort of month that I've started to feel better again. And I started looking at the jobs that were available in this area. But the last job I had, which was an admin role, and was very high pressured and demanding, kind of burnt me out a bit. So when I'm looking at jobs, I was looking at admin roles and I was thinking, oh, I don't want to go back to that. I don't think I could cope with it again. So I've been trying to look at what else I could maybe do and wondering about working part-time as well, but the part-time income doesn't look like it's enough to keep me because I don't own my own home in the UK. I do own my own home, but that's in overseas, and I'm renting that out and I'm living off the rent. So it's a bit of a quandary, but I thought I could start by looking where I am, looking where I want to get to, and looking at what's going to help me get there. So I'm 61. I'm not working at all. I'm renting out my overseas home and I'm living off the rental income. And when I'm 67, I would like to be living in my own home in the UK, living off my pensions. Now, to get there, I have a home which I can sell. But once I sell it, the income from it stops. In fact, the income from it stops before I sell it, because I don't think people will rent it while it's on the market. I don't think that's the thing. That's something I need to find out. I have 5 pensions that will eventually come in. None of these pensions are ones I had a choice about. They are all pensions that you can't opt out of. So it's not because I planned it this way, I just fell into it really. One is a government pension from when I lived overseas. That comes to me when I turn 67. Then I have a small UK pension, which also comes to me when I turn 67. I've been paying, or I've recently started to pay voluntary contributions because it took a long time to work out whether or not I could. And I've been told I should get £6.58 per week for every year that I pay for a UK pension. And I will be paying at the end, by the time I'm 67, I will have paid for 8 years. So that's about £52 a week. And I've requested a pension forecast from overseas, and they've said currently if I take the pension at 67, I think they said it was £240 a week, and if I take it from 65 it's £200 a week, something like that. Can't quite remember, should have written it down, didn't. And then I have 3 occupational pensions, none of which are very big. One of them comes out at 65, but I can take it from 60. The other 2 occupational pensions come out when I'm 67 as well, but I can claim them from the age of 62. So I would perhaps need to know how much I would get from the age of 62. I don't think it would be an awful lot, but if I get those 3 pensions starting from the age of 62, it'd be interesting to find out how much I would get from them. I'd probably still need to work if I was going to take my house, ask the people renting to leave my house and put it on the market. And then maybe I would take my overseas pension at 65. So that would mean from 62 to 65 I might need to work, but from 65 I might possibly be okay not to work. And then at 67 I would get the UK pension on top. I know that there are tax breaks to getting lump sums out of your pensions, but I don't understand that at all. I don't really know how that would work. I don't know if I can get lump sums out of my overseas pension, or if it all has to be paid as a regular pension. I think a friend of mine just got a lump sum, so perhaps I could take a lump sum. There's an awful lot I've got to find out and work out, and I figure it'll all fall into place as I find these things out. I don't really want to work if I don't have to work. I'd like to just enjoy my life, especially because I have got some health conditions that I'm still not entirely sure how serious they are, and it could be that they are more serious, and if that's the case then I may not be enjoying retirement for very long. So I would like to start enjoying it now, but it may be that I find out that this health condition is a lot less serious when I have some more checks on it, and then that wouldn't necessarily be a factor in my decision making. But until I know that for sure, and I'm having another test on the 4th of August that should clarify some of those things, then I will be able to make more of a decision on this. But I want to be able to, I want to enjoy some retirement. And if this is all I'm going to get, then I'm going to enjoy this. So anyway, I've got to work it all out. At least I have found somewhere I want to live, because I love living in Leicestershire, where I moved to in February, and very, very happy to stay living here. Even if my son moves away, I think I'll be very happy to stay living here. But yes, this is all, I just didn't think about retiring at all. It was not on my radar. I wasn't planning for it really in any substantial way. And it seemed so far away. Whereas now, at 61, it's 5.5 years away. That's no time at all. I need to start planning. I need to decide what I'm going to do. I need to know how these moving parts move, what the range of movement is that they've got, so I can decide when it all comes together in a shape and a form for me to do the best thing for myself. So yeah, that's my introduction to my retirement plans, such as they are. They're very nebulous at the moment. And yeah, I need to find out more. I'm going to work on finding out more and educating myself about what I can do with pensions, so that I navigate the best path through all this. Okay, thank you for watching, and got any questions, do pop them in, and I'll speak to you next time. Thank you.